I was wrong about Ganyu. Okay? I said it! I was wrong, okay? Is that what you wanted to hear? Huh? But not about what you might think. You see, I had the audacity to say the outlandish statement that Ganyu was the perfect character. My reasoning? Well, she has absurdly high AoE damage multipliers, an insanely powerful artifact set that gives up to 40% crit rate. Her second best in slot weapon is a free-to-play craftable. From ascending, she gains 20% crit rate, 38.8% crit damage, and 20% cryo damage bonus. Ganyu can achieve 75% crit rate without a single artifact substat with cryo resonance. Did I mention that she's the only character in the game that can't be debuffed in any way from slowing water or engulfing storm, which historically cripples characters like Hu Tao and every single other character in the game? So I concluded Ganyu was so broken, why would you get any other character after her who historically have been balanced new releases? She's clearly stacked. And I'm not just talking about her damage, if you know what I'm saying. I'm in there. This is what I believed. It's certainly not unreasonable, but I failed to account for one aspect that evens the playing field. Quality of life. Welcome to The Chopping Block, a series where I make a nuanced argument about why a strong character might not be as strong as you think. Recently, I decided to play Ganyu, and let me tell you that she's already been power crept in a way that I did not see coming. It's a very strange and peculiar power creep. MiHoYo is like a magician who has an amazing sleight of hand. You don't see the trick coming. She hasn't been power crept because new characters do more damage than her, but rather new characters are better than her at doing damage. Let me explain. Keep in mind, I don't care about meta at all. My Kokomi is triple crowned because I'm stupid, but I do care about balanced characters, a balanced game state, because being too weak is annoying, but a character being too strong gets boring. In my initial assessment of Ganyu, I kept looking at damage, but Spiral Abyss is no longer about damage and debuffs. In fact, Spiral Abyss hasn't been about damage and debuffs for the past 4 months. It's not really about how fast you can kill the enemies, it's about how much DPS you can do without being interrupted. All of a sudden, you need to survive, deal damage, and be immovable. Case in point, triple Magu Kenki. These bastards will kill you, but more importantly, they will interrupt you. Individually, they have less HP than a single Magu Kenki, but their absolute ferocious nature more than makes up for their decreased HP. With Ganyu, I dodged, and I dodged some more! And I just can't get 3 stars with her. Yeah, I know. First world problem, but don't hold it against me. So you might be thinking, Xenar, why don't you throw in Ayaka? Whoa, slow down there, buddy. Your inner whale is speaking. Without Zhongli, Ganyu struggles to consistently pull off charge attacks. What good is dealing 30k charge attacks if you have to dodge every other second, preventing you from doing any? Obviously, if you're able to freeze the enemy, Ganyu absolutely decimates them, but MiHoYo is creating more and more enemies that are immune to freeze. Both the Perpetual Mechanical Array and the Kenkis are nightmare fuel for Ganyu. Have you ever gone to sleep and had a dream where you did a 10 pull on a character banner? It turned gold! You weren't even close to pity, it's your lucky day. You click, and bang! It's Chi-Chi. And you wake up in a cold sweat. Sound familiar? Well, actually, I have no idea what you're talking about because I crowned my Chi-Chi, but the point is that Ganyu mains wake up in a cold sweat when they see Magu Kenki in the abyss. It's like a left hook from behind the back between your legs straight up your center jaw. Ganyu is in desperate need of a 5-star cryo support to reclaim her place upon the throne. Also, interruption is not the only problem Ganyu has. She also has the strange problem of her damage being consistently high. That's right. That's a problem. If you don't understand, listen closely and I'll explain, because I didn't get this either. Ganyu deals 30,000 charge attacks, and that's amazing. But she never deals more than that. She doesn't have spikes in DPS, which means in order for Ganyu to keep up with characters like Hu Tao, who deals all of her damage in 9 seconds and has built-in downtime, Ganyu has to keep shooting to deal all of her damage. Non-stop. If you miss a shot, you lose. If you get interrupted, you lose. If you're a mobile player, good one. I was so concerned about DPS that I lost sight of quality of life. Ayaka and Ganyu do similar amounts of damage over time, but Ayaka ultimate does it in 5 seconds, and then her damage falls off a cliff, but you spend the rest of that time building energy and dodging. There's inbuilt downtime, more quality of life. I don't know how or when it happened, but Ganyu got power crept by not having spikes in DPS. In a game where enemies with a lot of movement and invulnerability, you want to deal as much damage as possible in the short time frame you have without having to dodge or move, and if you can't freeze them, she's in trouble. More quality of life examples is how Kazuha provides less damage bonus than a C6 Sucrose, but his CC is centered around him and not screwed by auto-targeting. Zhongli's 20% resistance shred is 20% worse than an Animo support with Iridescent or Superconduct, but his shield prevents interruption, allowing you to attack during times you normally would have to dodge. Ganyu doesn't have time to dodge. She has to work overtime both in lore and in-game to deal the same amount of damage Ayaka does in 5 seconds. When I said, why would you need any other character after you get Ganyu, that might have been short-sighted. In fact, it's actually the opposite. After you get Ganyu, you need to get a shielder. Healing isn't sufficient. The problem isn't that she dies, even though she has really low HP, it's that she gets interrupted and healing doesn't stop that, only freezing and shielding. Toma only works with normal attacks. Xinyan's been on life support since the beginning of time. Diona's pretty good, if you have that many resources to invest into a 4-star character that doesn't deal any damage to ensure she has a strong shield. Sure, you can do that. Just don't expect to get 3 stars if your Ganyu's not doing enough damage. By comparison, when you think of a character like Kokomi, you kind of get everything. 40,000 HP, 8,000 healing a second, Hydro, the best supporting element in the game, and with 4-piece Ocean Hued damage, none of which relies on substats. Kokomi being so cheap to build might actually save you resources, allowing you to invest those into other characters that deal off-field DPS like Xiangling or any Electro character. Against the Magu Kenki with Kokomi, it doesn't matter that I don't have a shielder and that I get interrupted, because the damage isn't coming from her. Free-to-play off-field characters alongside her bubble with her immortality make Kokomi teams ironically better than Ganyu teams. Wait a minute, hold up, slow down. Let me run that statement back through my head again. Yeah, checks out. Don't be fooled, Ganyu does more damage than Kokomi, right? Well, in theory she does, but in practice, the amount of dodging and interruption you might go through, as well as any potential missed shots you might miss, might make the damage closer than you might like to admit. Interestingly enough, Kokomi might be Ganyu and Zhongli combined, AoE damage and immortality. It's almost as if once you get Kokomi, you don't need any other character again. There is good news, however. There's actually light at the end of the tunnel. In the right situation versus enemies that she can freeze, Ganyu is still a force of nature. She's also a fantastic cryo support, providing 20% cryo damage and wide cryo application. She kind of just moseyed on over to a supportive role. At this point, I don't know what to think about Ganyu. She wasn't balanced when she was released, but she's certainly balanced now. Much like how Venti absolutely demolishes lower tier enemies, but is kind of useless against heavyweight enemies and bosses. And if there's any character in the game who isn't balanced, at least from a perspective of giving you everything a character can possibly offer, that might be Kokomi. However, if Kokomi didn't fight through the dark trenches of poor energy regeneration and annoying stationary jellyfish and arise as the underdog, she would be the one on the other side of my chopping block.